Hey guys, Alex here with Armadillo Armament. Today, we're continuing the conversation on the most fun 2011 or Staccato drama I think we've probably ever had. The other day, I told you guys I'd be contacting Staccato and getting an official response from them before I really kind of close out my thoughts on this entire situation, and I did get that update, so I'm going to be sharing that with you today. A really quick review of exactly what this conversation is about. Ben Steger, apparently is how you pronounce his last name. I thought it was Stoger the whole time. My apologies, Ben. He dropped an XC, and he found that if you drop it directly on the barrel, vertical to the ground, that firing pin can actually detonate a primer within the firearm. This is a massive problem to some agencies and a lot of people, myself included, because Staccato positions itself as a drop-safe firearm, right? I'm not going to get into the nuance of that. You can make your own determination. Now, I reached out with Staccato, and just once again, as a reminder, I said, hey, are you aware of the Ben Stoger drama? And he said, oh yeah, with the XC? Yeah, we're creating an official response, and we'll reach out with you in a couple days. I asked him some questions. He was great, and I did get that official response. So, this video isn't going to be super drawn out. I'm going to give you guys the facts. On the screen right now is email number 1. Please feel free to screenshot this, or please feel free to pause the video on the screenshot and read through it. Now, what matters in these emails is that they tell me that the 1911 is a Series 70 design, or the 2011 is a Series 70 design, similar to this Gold Cup national match by Colt. Now, what that means is there's no firing pin block, which makes sense. A 1911 dropped vertically can potentially go off. That being said, I've never really heard of that happening on like a modern battlefield, or really throughout history. You're very sparing going to find information on this. But he assured me that many other states, their requirements to be allowed in the states for that force are extremely rigorous, right? And that this isn't a problem we should worry about. Now, read through this email, make your own determination. Right now, I am going to allow you to pause on this email. This email was after I inquired on the ability to purchase a titanium firing pin and or different springs that may help alleviate the issue. For those of you that may not know, a titanium firing pin, to my knowledge, I don't really play with pins too often, but to my knowledge, because it is lighter, it's not going to have as much mass, or rather, it's not going to be as heavy, so therefore it's not going to be slamming in at quite the same velocity as a normal firing pin spring, like once again in this Colt, and that can help alleviate it. Now, from what I've seen online, I've seen 1911 manufacturers that haven't had this issue whatsoever, and I've seen some that are running titanium that either don't have this issue or it needs to be from such a ludicrously high height for the issue to really show itself. It's important to note that the Staccato went off from shoulder height. Ben, I'm guessing he's probably about a 6-foot tall male, so this was, at most, I have to assume 5 feet up. For me personally, I consider that to be a huge hazard. Being able to just dropping the firearm from 5 feet can cause it to detonate. If this was 10 or 15 feet up, that's a completely different conversation. I wouldn't be worried about it whatsoever. But because it is from such a short distance, I consider that a problem. So make your own determination based off the 2 emails here. I'm not here to really throw too much shade at Staccato. I'm not even trying to really rile up drama. My YouTube channel is just it's something that I'm passionate about, and I'm not going to become a drama channel that just, tries to make fun of companies left and right to get views. I just did this one because I'm so passionate about the platform. So don't expect these type of videos moving forward. But now I just want to talk about my closing thoughts on everything that has occurred. And where that kind of leaves me in the market and where I'm going to continue my firearm journey. So a couple notes, because I post to 1911 addicts. I used to post to Reddit, but Reddit's banned every account I make because if you like guns, at some point or another, a Reddit mod will ban your account. Funny how that works. 1911 addicts is kind of cringe, but they're kind of cool. let's talk about some talking points for 1911 addicts. First of all, I have seen it be said that a tighter fitting pistol, a higher quality pistol, like let's say a Nighthawk as an example, may be more drop safe. I'm just throwing that in your ear. I'm not telling you whether that's correct or not. I've seen a couple reports saying that their issues don't have, or their guns don't have this issue whatsoever. My Quantico High Cap that I'm waiting for, which once again, I'm unfortunately going to be selling pretty soon. That gun, it may be built to a higher tolerance or a higher quality that it won't be an issue. Maybe it's because that firing pin channel is tighter. I'm not sure where people come up with that idea, but regardless, I've actually seen it thrown around quite a bit. So I'm curious if someone can do testing on that, because I'm not dropping my Quantico. I'm not dropping a $5,000 gun and denting it. So make your own research on that. Ports and comps on a duty gun. I've seen this thrown around a ton. And I will have a video talking about this in a future episode, but one of my favorite guns of all time, it may actually be my favorite gun of all time. The 1911's up there, but the Roland Special. This is a Foland Special, F-A-U-X, because it's not a real Roland Special, but this has a compensator on it, and I've dealt with many Glock sides and Sig slides with holes in them. I don't think that necessarily can indicate or be a poor choice as a carry firearm, like the Staccato XC. But the Staccato XC, while I understand that it can make a good shooter a better shooter, and law enforcement has recently picked it up, I have seen people complaining about the fact that the slide is so light and there's so little recoil that the mass reciprocating obviously isn't going to be that much, and it is going to be a less reliable firearm. I've seen torture testing where just the slightest bit of mud will really lock up an XC. And it's not a bash against the XC, it's just a fact of the matter. The slide is these springs are so light in that gun. Whereas this Roland, even though I am running a compensator and this shoots incredibly flat, almost as flat as a comped 2011. I swear to God, if you're good at shooting, you can make a Roland just about as fast as a 2011. The spring weight is still very strong. So, I just want to bring that up because that came up multiple times during this conversation. All right, what else? Once again, the reason why this is such a big deal is because that CZ gun quite literally killed someone last year. So I think the argument of don't drop your guns is kind of ludicrous. At one point or another, you're going to drop your guns. I think I mentioned this last video. If you're a gun guy, at one point or another, you've gone into the bathroom with your gun. And don't lie to me. I know you're out there and you're going to say you've never dropped a gun and you never go to the bathroom with your gun and all these things. You're a liar, okay? I walk around the house with my guns all the time, and I'm pretty rough with my guns. And at least at one point or another, multiple times, I've dropped my gun off of a small surface. The reason I bring up the bathroom is because I've put my gun on, like, the tub end, and, I'm going to take a shower, and it falls, right? And it falls directly onto its optic, which is why I'm a very strong believer in strong optics. But the reason I mentioned all this is because that's going to be a couple feet up. And I think people are really valuing the drop safety points. If my gun wasn't drop safe and I was chambered, there's quite literally a chance that in one of those situations, a Staccato XC or a 2011 could have detonated and shot a round into my floor. So, anyone that says, hey, you know what, I don't drop my guns, train more. Because if you don't drop your guns, I doubt you train. I don't intentionally drop my guns. I'm not throwing them, down a street onto pavement. But guns drop, guys. And them being drop safe, I really don't think should be an argument. And one of the last things I wanted to mention was the fact that I have seen multiple reports of agencies looking at different guns for their new duty gun. I have a law enforcement friend that has actually told me about their kind of qualms with the platform and their worries, especially with this coming out. I've seen a lot of reports online of Texas and, well, I'm not going to get into the specifics, but a lot of states kind of reassessing the Staccato choice. And one that I saw was that USMS is concerned and looking for an alternative currently because of this whole Staccato fiasco. So it's not, I think people are really underplaying the fact that Law enforcement agencies really need their guns to be drop safe, and a law enforcement agency isn't going to be able to change their springs or their firing pins. A lot of these places aren't allowed to even, like their slides mill. That's why the MOS program was created in many ways. Not just for them, but they're forced to use things like the MOS Glock, right? Because agencies don't want you modifying your gun. So I've seen it said online that, hey, just buy a titanium firing pin and change it yourself. Well, Staccato is going to consider that a voided warranty, and as such, they're not going to, if your gun hits that firing pin and discharges around and you send that gun back, they may have an issue with that. I can't say for certain. Some people say, hey, just change the firing pin before you send it in. But remember, if this is a law enforcement gun, that gun might be immediately confiscated, right? And you may not have the ability to do so. So once again, the idea of just don't drop your gun or just replace these things is kind of a dumb concept. The guns really should be drop safe 100% through and through. Now, another conversation topic is where can Staccato go from here? And that is, they have two options. I've seen some people go around saying, hey, make it so the safety creates some sort of firing pin block, right? Staccato either needs to, from the factory, offer the titanium firing pin modification on their website from the factory with the additional springs, as well as any other safety they can surmise, or Staccato could potentially move to a Series 80 design. I think moving to a Series 80 design is never going to happen because Staccato has kind of cemented themselves with their current design. People obviously have a false understanding of the Series 70, thinking that the Series 70 has a phenomenal trigger pull and the 80 has a terrible trigger pull. That's not even close to correct. Series 80 guns can have phenomenal triggers. I've shot phenomenal Series 80s that honestly have way better triggers than Staccatos. So if they have the want to do so, they can swap to Series 80, and maybe it'll be $50 more expensive in parts, probably less than that. But in order for me to be really interested in Staccato moving forward, I would need to either A, then move to Series 80, or create a alternate solution, or have the firing pin upgrade and spring from the factory. And then I would potentially consider it. The way that Staccato has kind of handled this entire situation has really, and you know what, I'm not going to mince it, has really pissed me off. I went from wanting to buy the Staccato C, and I'm moving away from my Alchemy for reasons. In my next video, I'll probably outline. It'll be a review on the Alchemy Quantico high cap. I really wanted to, I'm moving from the Quantico into Staccato because I really care about reliability. And I just wanted a rugged gun that just worked and was more cost effective and cheaper. And, they have a great track record behind them. So I was expecting not to see these issues. And now that these have kind of reared their ugly face, I'm 100% not interested in Staccato. Them telling me that, I'm coming to them saying, hey, we have a lot of people really worried, including myself, and you're just going to tell me, oh, it's a Series 70, you shouldn't be worried. We've been doing this for decades or a century, realistically. That's just not going to cut it for me. I would need one of those requirements that I just mentioned, and I think a lot of law enforcement agencies may actually, once again, be rethinking this choice. That's not to say you shouldn't buy Staccato or you shouldn't keep your Staccatos, right? If you don't, or rather, if you're not law enforcement and you're not dropping your guns incredibly frequently, which is going to happen, but, if you're not a careless person, and you really love 2011s and you really love Series 70 designs and you really like Staccato, please continue and like Staccato. Staccato seems like a good company still. It's just not for me. And just to round out my thoughts here, I'm completely just abandoning the 2011 platform at this point because I've had terrible luck with my Quantico. I've had terrible luck with me wanting to get a Staccato. I've had not so great luck with TSOS. And I've used a lot of 2011s, and I've just been underwhelmed at every single step of the way. And I don't say that lightly because I am a 1911 connoisseur. The 1911 is my favorite firearm of all time. So I was really excited to get into 2011s, and I've just been let down. So my channel really isn't going to be focused really at all on 2011s moving forward. Not that it was to begin with, but I was kind of segueing into that, and that's just not going to happen. Guns like the Glock are just going to continue to be my bread and butter because I don't need to worry about a Glock being drop safe. I don't need to worry about a Glock having poor QC like Alchemy. I don't need to worry about really anything with my Glocks. I have a Tallow Glock 45 coming in with a Acro P2. I'll put a picture on the screen right now. I'm going to put a TLR7 on that, and that'll be basically my new CCW because I need guns that I can trust. And Staccato has kind of ruined my trust in them with this whole situation. So I will not be getting the new Staccato C. I'm sorry if everyone's disappointed. And I hope this rounds out the controversy. This video was kind of all over the place. This is more so just a rambling of thoughts. But I wanted to close the loop and let people know exactly what Staccato said and where and how that makes me feel. Because I am a civilian. I'm not law enforcement. I'm not military. So I kind of have a unique position in this entire conversation, right? I'm looking at it from all angles, but I'm looking at it from a civilian angle. And once again, I don't allow my guns to not be drop safe. Okay. I'll be a little bit more careful with this one, I guess. All right, guys. I left it till the end of the video because I just wanted to jump straight into the controversy. Really quick, if you want to buy patches, Red Pond Shop. I'll put a picture on the screen right now. He makes really cool patches for me. He removes 1 pound of junk from the ocean, and he's going to plant a tree for every single item in your order. If you use code Armadillo, you'll get 10% off your order. Please like and subscribe. I don't normally beg for likes and subscriptions, but especially in my last Staccato video, I had a lot of people that really engaged in the comments, and one person actually recognized me from 1911 Addicts. That's kind of funny. I don't know who you are. DM me sometime. That'd be fun. I've had people recognize me in the wild, so do that if you want to. But regardless, please like and subscribe. This channel is actually growing a lot quicker than I ever anticipated it, and it's because of you guys. Please subscribe, ring that bell notification, and watch my videos, and it'll keep generating me a small amount of income, and I can continue to do reviews. The next review will be on the Quantico High Cap, where I will try and not get my feelings in the way, and I'll try to be as non-biased as possible, even though it's a $5,000 gun. And then after that, I'll likely have a Glock 45 review for you guys, as well as a lot of other gear, night vision, plate carrier. I'm a big tactical gear guy. So, all right, I'll catch you guys in the next one.